保护彼此，投身到世界家，世界家。
If you choose the Chinese immersion option, you will know that your child will only hear Chinese from day one from their teacher, and they'll learn the core subjects of social studies, math, language arts, and science, all in Mandarin.
Students in Chinese immersion learn the same high standards that students in English classrooms do, and Chinese immersion students are assessed using the same district and state measurements that English students use. These assessments are administered in English. By grade 4, the Chinese immersion students have historically outperformed their peers.
They only speak Chinese in our classroom, and they can communicate with their peers and the teachers in Chinese. If they didn't know anything, they were happy. They are willing to ask the teacher what means for this kind of words.
In my classroom, I normally will provide more visual support to students, and I also use gestures or the body movement to capture student attention.
Usually the parents ask me how well they can speak or use the language by the end of the kindergarten. But it's very in different students. Some students can speak the full sentences, and some students are still working on input. In kindergarten, they work on understanding the language. In first grade, they work on producing the language.
Essentially, starting in kindergarten, students only get Mandarin. However, during their specials like media, Phi-Ed, art, and music, those are in English. And then introducing in third grade, they have 60 minutes of English where an English teacher pushes into the classroom and gives them the essentials in English, so by the time they leave here in 5th grade, they're as ready as our English students going into the middle school.
By the end of 5th grade, you will be amazed at how they are able to speak, read, and write in Chinese. Native speakers are able to model natural pronunciation that is definitely advantageous.
Not only are they going to be fluent in another language, not only are they going to be challenged academically, but in addition, research shows that they tend to be more creative, and they tend to be able to understand things from multiple points of view. And that's really helpful in the 21st century, and look at collaboration and really entering a world competitive market.
早上好 Spencer.
A typical day in Chinese immersion is just like any other classroom. To begin the day, they spend time in morning meeting. They have time in stations and in active learning activities. There's time to talk and interact with peers. They work in small groups as well as in large groups each day.
They practice a lot of communicative skills.
They are having conversations in Chinese. They are reading, writing, and speaking at a high level of complexity.
Sometimes I use myself as a storytelling, so they cannot relate to the lesson to our really lives.
Parents also always ask, how do the students know you can understand them? So I tell parents, just tell your kid they can speak English to me. I don't respond in English, but I will respond in Chinese. So the students can ask me questions in English.
Many times parents wonder, what about the homework? I don't understand Mandarin. How can I help my child? Really, any homework that comes home, you're able to help your child. You will get the homework in English so that you can follow them and track what they're doing. You can also go to our online platforms in order to kind of track what they're doing and kind of what they need to do to get ready for the following day.
Parents choosing the Minnetonka immersion model need to realize and appreciate the fact that they're making a decision that creates a 12-year-long map for their child. The middle school immersion model is the next step in the immersion experience for our students through an immersed social studies class and an immersed language arts class. But in addition to that, it's going to allow them to have access to our menu of extended, enriched classes, honors courses, accelerated courses. So the students are getting that immersion experience and that continued growth and proficiency. And it's part of our bigger commitment to an immersed language experience for these students all the way through 12th grade.
On NWA MAP assessments, K-6 Chinese immersion students have performed higher than all programs at each grade level in math. By 6th grade, Chinese immersion students performed higher than all programs on NWA reading assessments. On recent MCA MAP tests, 3rd and 4th grade and 5th grade Chinese immersion students outperformed all programs.
What's really nice about our immersion program is that it's established. It's been going on for a number of years. In fact, we've had visitors from China, quite a few, and we've had at one point the Vice Minister for Chinese Education visit, and he was extremely impressed by the fluency of our student, and that really if he said he closed his eyes, he would not hear an accent.
What if we start the program and decide it's not for my child? We encourage you to stay with the program as long as possible to be sure that you give it a full try. Sometimes growing pains are simply that and are not related to immersion. To begin, you will want to make sure that immersion is something that you value for your child and you are committed to. As with any program, it's important to work with the school to resolve any concerns that may arise along the way. We work very hard to provide support so that your child will be successful in the program. But in the end, if it's just not a good fit, after working together, in rare cases, children may return to an English classroom. Unless your child has been enrolled in Chinese immersion program elsewhere, or has had consistent daily reading, writing, and speaking in Chinese, they will not be allowed to start after October of kindergarten.
These students, by the time they graduate in 12th grade, are going to be highly proficient, and they're going to have a skill set serve them well as they move on at college and in life.